Hello Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. I'm happy to have you all. What's up, Leo? What's up, Leo gang? All right, please come into this tarot reading with an open heart and an open mind. Take away only what resonates for you and release the rest. Please do trust your own intuition above all else because you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's go ahead and set the intention to get Leo some clear, helpful, insightful messages wherever they are currently at on their spiritual path. I don't know why this is bothering me, but let's just go ahead and light this other candle too for extra good juju. For Leo, setting the intention, good vibes from the universe. All right, let's do it. That just seems right. Can't leave a candle unlit, not during a tarot reading. Here we go. All right, so we did several rounds of love readings. This is going to be a little bit more open, a little bit more general. If love comes through, I'm happy to relay that and read for it. But yeah, let's see what's going on in Leo's energy in the coming few weeks, in the coming month or so. So what's going on in the past? What's going on in the past? All right, so the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. All right, so in this deck, it's called the Muse of Emotions. That is the King, and it's sideways. It's sideways. I don't know if that's symbolic, but that's really interesting that you have the King and Queen of Cups. I'm kind of into that, I'll be honest. You already have a divine pairing there. Remember, it has nothing to do with gender per se. It can be same-sex couples, whatever you identify with, but essentially they speak the same language, right? They're both of the cups element, the emotions. People who operate with high emotional integrity, authenticity. I really like that. Someone who maybe you saw as a divine counterpart, somebody who had your back too, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. There's a strong chance that it is, but let's see. So if that's coming up in the past, how is that impacting my Leo gang presently? I'm hearing someone left a lasting impression on you, Leo. So how is that affecting them currently? Four of Materials. All right. So there's a kind of a mixed message here. Sometimes the Four of Pentacles is holding on to something very tightly and not wanting to let it go. For some of you, I'm almost getting a storyline, and this might be just a very short one-noted thing, of needing to release something in order to allow it to grow. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's for some of you, I'm always getting something related to your child, like sending them off to college or whatever, sending them off to daycare. It might be something that you've loved and you've nurtured, and it's been very, very, held tightly to the chest. That's sort of what I'm getting. Leo rules the chest too, I think, which is kind of symbolic. The heart anyway. But it's almost like there's a need to put a little bit of space there, but it's not necessarily saying out of a lack of love. It's almost in a greater appreciation, like a higher vibration, a higher form of love, because you're allowing something a little bit of space to breathe and flourish on its own without you necessarily being right by its side all the time. I'm hearing catch and release too. So for some of you, if it is romantic, there may be a need or a reason to either push pause or allow space into the relationship. Maybe someone got a new job and they're traveling a lot more. And so it's bittersweet. I think you're doing it because you love them and you understand that, you have to show your love via support and endorsement of what this next chapter looks like for them. But there is something it's hard to let it go too. It's almost like, oh, I want to keep you close because I love you so much. There's a protective energy here, specifically with a Capricorn or a water sign, a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. All right, so let's see then. Where is Leo at emotionally with this? Where is Leo at emotionally? So the Three of Cups. All right, so it is an emotional card. Sometimes that can be hoping for a reunion, or that can also be a joy and a celebration of sorts, a toast, a cheers, raising your glass to someone's accomplishments or endeavors. And, I even mean that, in metaphor too, if you have a child and they're reaching some new stage of development, it's like, oh my God, I'm so happy, but there's also this bittersweet moment of, oh, but my kid is growing, right? So that's sort of what I'm saying, is this may resonate for you in different areas of your life. So again, only take what resonates, but I do like Three of Emotions. It says that you are feeling the feels, and emotions are coming through in the emotional sector. So in theory, that's a good thing. And the Three of Cups, again, it is a celebration card. It's a card of reunions, achievements, and it is also a card of expansion too, right? The Two of Cups is one-on-one, you and me, you're my ride or die person or whatever. And now it's there's a little bit more space. It's I don't know, someone else is being brought brought in, or there's a new best friend, or there's a new coworker, or there's a new, and I don't necessarily mean that in like a cheating way, please don't misinterpret, but it's, you understand what I mean? Like your tribe is growing, your pack is growing, and so it's not as pure, and it's not, it's moving away from its original form of you and this person's innate, immediate bond and connection. It's growing, but what I'm getting is that's not a bad thing. If anything, it's showing that you've done really well. Essentially, you quote unquote have raised this person right. And by allowing them space to grow and develop, it's really it's a attribute, I hope that's the right word, attribute to your love and loyalty and affection for this person, that you are willing to endorse this new chapter, and give them that space, give them that freedom. So what's going on in the mental sector? Again, the 3 of materials. This feels like some of you are building, and maybe that's literally for some of you. You could be building a home, building building a whatever, fill in the blank, building someone's career. Again, there's more players coming into the mix, and it's not necessarily making it bad, but it might be making it more complicated. And I don't think this is the case, but some of you, your fears, your worrying is that there's going to be too many cooks in the kitchen, or you may be fearing a little bit of competition. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I feel like you're actually stacking up people who are on your team. I think you have a good network. You have a good team of people supporting you. For a lot of you, you're starting to recognize just how much your family has come through for you in times of need. And there's much gratitude there. For some of you, I'm getting some storyline about a sister being pregnant. For those who have a sister, there could be pregnancy or new pregnancies or engagement, something to do with families regarding your sister-in-law even. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, that's coming through for some of you. A lot of you, it's like you're being asked to consider the long-term projections, not sort of the immediate feels, because I think some of you are being a little bit nostalgia or sentimental about the past and what used to be. And you have to understand, like, it served you, but the universe is saying, like, it's your time to grow now. It's your time to flourish. And same thing goes for the person in this connection with you. You both are getting an upgrade in some sort of way. You both are being ushered into a new chapter, into a new cycle. And for a lot of you, you're still very much connected, you're still very much in touch, or you're still dating, or you're still married, but there's some sort of challenge where you have to love this person either from a distance or in a different way. I think really it's in a different way. So what is holding Leo back then in this connection? What is holding Leo back, please? So fears and anxieties, okay, and then the 10 of material, which for me is very much a card of either financial prospects, wealth, abundance, as well as it's a family card. It's the idea of loyalty and who you grow with. Again, I'm going to reiterate what I've already said. There's fears and anxiety about initiating a new chapter because something or someone, it used to be so good, or really it still is. It's like, and again, this won't be everyone's story, but I can tell you off the bat, like, the message here is like, my life is so good right now, I don't want anything to change. And you know what I'm going to say to that, right, Leo? Like, that's the only guarantee in life is change. And just because things are super great now doesn't mean they're not going to get even better or upgraded again. But I think you know that there is some sort of like, it's almost like by initiating this new chapter, you know you're either going to plateau a little bit, or there's just that kind of that fear of the unknown, that fear of change. That's what's coming through. But again, I want to reiterate to you, you have such a lovely support system. So don't be afraid to use those resources, those allies, the people who show up for you, because I'm telling you, they're showing up in abundance here. It's not just one or two friends or one or two family. Like, you have people who show up for you. And so there's a reason or a need for you to be reminded that you're not going at this alone. I'm hearing the word consoling. Some of you may join some sort of community or team, or I'm almost getting like a team of people who support one another. It's almost coming through in like an AA type thing, or people dealing with I don't know, loss or grief, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be the opposite. It could be like, entrepreneurs unite, or people who have common interests or common goals in mind. They come together and like share stories, or maybe it's even like an online community where it's like you can kind of open up and share what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're trying to accomplish, and other people can chime in on that too as a way to support you. Or do you understand what I mean? That totally is being mirrored in your own life in multiple areas. So you may even step up and do that for someone else. You may be a mentor. You may be a teacher in many senses of the word in ways that you don't really realize. And that's such like a Leo message too. It's like you're the sun. You illuminate things. You inspire other people in ways you don't even know. All right, so what is going to be helpful to Leo? What's going to help them move forward? What is their action or advice card? The Four of Voices. Relax, rest, all is good, all is right. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. There are going to be stresses in life. There's going to be challenges and oppositions. That doesn't mean that you're being punished or that you've done anything wrong. It's the natural order of things. It's how things are supposed to progress. So take a moment to inhale and exhale. In fact, take several moments to do that. Take a hot bubble bath or whatever it is you do to unwind. Do some yoga. Make sure you're getting a lot of sleep. But appreciate the little moments. Don't get too lost in the drama or the chaos or, again, the fears and anxieties. You need to move away from that, and you need to rest knowing that all is right. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Even if it doesn't make sense right now, it will. It will. You have to be patient. Give it time. The Four of Swords is a rest and relax card. And it's Jupiter in Libra. So everything is going to work out. Everything in the universe is right and just and fair. There is karmic balance here. So even if you are going through a time that it's pulling at your heartstrings a little bit. It's tough, but in a way that you know it's right. Like, I hope that makes sense. It's like you're feeling sentimental or nostalgic. It's hard to let go of something that you care greatly about. But the universe is like, I know, but you don't know what I have waiting in store for you. So just trust that this is what's meant to be. And keep in mind, again, the greater vision, the long-term perspective. Hold on, I'm trying to phrase this right. I'm hearing words like transformation, makeover, glow up, like those phrases, right? They all kind of have a similar connotation. I'm not exactly sure what that has to, I'm not sure how to put that into a sentence that makes sense here, but I think it's a good thing in terms of what's going to help you. I think maybe you're going through a time of transformation, and so sometimes when you see the process of transformation, it's not all glitz and glamour. When you have to roll up your sleeves and do the work, the blood, sweat, and the tears, sometimes you can kind of get lost in it, in not looking beautiful or not looking perfect. And maybe it's like you're being asked to release the idea of perfection. And again, it's kind of a complicated message. The results are going to be incredible, but I think if you're too focused on the end game or the end goal or the end results, you're denying yourself the pleasure of the process and the journey and sort of accepting that things aren't perfect, but that doesn't mean that they're not beautiful in their own way. I hope that makes sense for some of you. The Nine of Material, though, is leaning into your confidence, leaning into your independence, and almost leaning into the idea of things that you can learn on your own. Independent study is coming up for some of you. Yeah, things are growing, things are building, you yourself are ascending. What about hopes and dreams for the future? The Ten of Voices, yes. So it feels like you want to be released from a mental prison. Things that you're afraid to go after, or really I'm sort of getting self-criticism, where you have fallen into victim mode based on your own thoughts or ideas or opinions of yourself. It's almost like you're recognizing it, which is absolutely half the battle. That's fantastic. There's a recognition that sometimes you're your own worst enemy because of, I don't know if it's lacking confidence or just feeling very self-critical or hyper alert, hyper aware of maybe, I don't know, missteps, falls where you've missed or where you didn't hit the mark. What's interesting though is people don't see you as that. Again, it's like your own inner critic. I think your hopes and wishes and goals are it's almost like to love yourself the way other people love you, to see yourself in that like beautiful light, to see yourself as, again, the mentor, the teacher, the generous one, the loving one, the loyal one. It's like other people associate you with those attributes, but do you associate yourself with that? I think there's a need to sort of declutter the mind, to go within as best you can and sort of really ask yourself where those hidden thoughts are coming from, and what truths you can separate as actual facts versus like this long-held belief that really doesn't hold any weight, like a long-held belief about yourself that has actually been like shadow stuff, things holding you back and weighing you down. And in a sense, it was like self-preservation. It's like you really were trying to protect yourself by not getting overexcited or not thinking ambitiously so that way you wouldn't be disappointed. And yet at the same time, that sort of, it's like gatekeeper or I don't know if guardian is the right word, but it's actually been holding you back. I hope that makes sense. It's like your own inner critic. It had your best in mind, but it's also no longer useful to you anymore. So there's a need to kind of declutter and get rid of those things. And I mean this in a kind and graceful way, but like even talking about that with like a therapist or a counselor or a mentor, or again some sort of community where multiple people are just struggling with, like, maybe it's just like self-esteem issues. That seems to be a goal of yours, to kind of bust out of that mental prison. And I think grieving or acknowledgement of feeling a sense of loss or distance or nostalgia, it's okay. And I think part of you just kind of wants to up and move away from it so you don't have to think about it anymore. But I think there's an acceptance that healing isn't linear, that there's going to be kind of peaks and valleys, and accepting that within our wounds, within our pain, there's actually a lot of wisdom and things that we can learn about ourselves from that. And so I think there's an acceptance and an acknowledgement of things that either are painful or didn't go right. And I know this is a weird way of phrasing it, but almost appreciating that too. Yeah, especially regarding a child for some of you. All right, potential outcome, as much as we're allowed to know for Leo. What is potential outcome here? The 7 of emotions. Yeah. So maybe getting a better pulse on things that you're feeling, but not necessarily having clarity on. I think there's a deep dive into your emotions and like doing some soul work, really, with the 7 of emotions. Some of you have a big, important decision to make that you've been avoiding for a while. And I don't know if I'm necessarily getting that the clock is ticking per se. So for some of you, it seems like there's been a lot of I'll do it tomorrow energy. And for a long time, that's actually worked in your benefit. So it's like intuitively you knew that it wasn't the right time to make the decision, and yet you've been beating yourself up about it. You've been like, I'm racking my brain, I'm battling back and forth, like I don't know how to handle this. And like it's almost like you felt guilty for not making the choice, but that in itself was like listening to your intuition that the choice hadn't presented itself yet with clarity. And maybe this is in Pisces season, right? In Pisces season, there's, it's a water sign, it's intuitive, but it's not necessarily the best at using logic. And so maybe this is a decision that you were being forced to make, I don't know, without the logic, without the clarity of data and statistics and details, and, without it being put in writing in a way that you could really like understand it with certainty. I think there's going to be a breakthrough moment where the opportunity not only clearly presents itself, but it's possible that if you're deciding between options, some of the other options may disappear or walk away, or I'm hearing the word like teeter out. I don't even know what that means. Those aren't my words. Those are just coming through. Some of the other options may subside or become less intriguing or less curious or less, they remove themselves from the spotlight. And this is not a fear-based reading. I have no idea what this is regarding, Leo. But if you were having to make a decision of 3 major career choices or 3 major jobs or 3 major schools for your child or, whatever it is, maybe it's dating options, whatever. If I am getting multiple, like at least 2, if not 3 or 4 options, the other ones somehow become less significant. And so the choice presents itself and there isn't this fear of, am I making the right choice? Is this the one to go with? Because it's just a simple yes, which I'm hoping is actually going to bring you a lot of joy and relief and happiness. But yeah, don't beat yourself up about not knowing what decision to make, because when the decision is right, you will know. And if it's not right, are you forcing a timeline that it's just not conducive to working with the universe? Like, it's almost like if you force the timeline, if you force the results, if you force yourself to make a decision, not feeling like you have all the information, I'm just posing the question, would you come to regret it? Would you come to regret it? So have faith and trust in the divine. The Four of Voices says, relax, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. All right. Healing Waters Oracle for Leo, anything that they need to hear? The Mist, trust your inner compass, be led from within. Again, there's that intuitive message, right? Again, it's not about the data or the details or the contracts or the logic or the paperwork. This is about trusting your gut instincts. That's what's going to serve you best right now, Leo. Oh, this is a long video. All right. And then maybe just some keywords for Leo. Enchanted Map Oracle to help guide them. If they're struggling with anything, what would be useful for Leo to hear? So this says the magic stream. We'll read about it. 18 makes me think of, let's see, the moon again. So like this kind of Piscean watery energy. I feel like there's a lot of water signs around you right now, or just kind of a lot of like mystical synchronicities is coming through. Okay. The magic stream. Every experience you have seems to have its own life story, with a beginning, a middle, and eventually an end. However, there is danger in seeing events as separate from one another, since in fact they are all part of the continuity and a greater evolution. Like an ever-flowing magic stream, your experiences filter the whole world, one leading into the other, informing and influencing still more. Inspiration, invention, and revelations rarely come to just one person. The collective awareness is a shared storehouse of potential. When you remember you're part of a fluid continuity of life, you become a channel for great inspiration. Allow the magic to flow through you and carry your dreams into reality. Your success will benefit many. I love it. And again, something about being part of the channel, being a part of the community, it's like multiple people are being hit with this stream of intuition and this river or this mystical flow. It's like you have the mist and the magic stream. That seems so like intuitive magic synchronicities. I think the universe is going to usher in this important chapter, and with that, there's going to be important players and characters along the way that are going to be highly beneficial and influential to you, Leo. This card wants to be seen. I went to put the deck away and it was left out. Yeah, the King of Air. So maybe some Aquarian energy, or taking the path less traveled, doing something unique or kooky or innovative. It's actually a spark of genius. So don't be too self-critical or self-conscious of other people's expectations or judgment of you. I think you need to release those and sort of embrace your true light, because there's something about you right now is going very against the grain, but it is true to your own heart and true to like your own intuition. So trust that. Zodiac signs that want to come out in the Leo reading. So you have Pisces, you have Virgo, Aries, and Cancer. All right, Leo, thanks for joining me today. Please show me some love and hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it if you want to leave a positive comment or even an emoji. That helps me find a greater audience on YouTube, and it helps my channel grow. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I post my tarot readings. And if you want more content from me, I am on Instagram and Facebook as The Intuitive Teacup. Thanks for showing up for me today, Leo. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon for more tarot.